love to multiply His movement. I'm Melissa Machenbacher, and this is a place we passionately pursue and proclaim Jesus. Today's monumental moment is titled Tongue Twisters. Well, according to Google, you say hello as hola in Spanish, or bonjour in French. Though they're different, none of these seem to be tongue twisters. Traveling can often be really a stretch outside of my comfort zone, especially when I travel to locations where my native English is not their first language. It can get quite complicated trying to hold a conversation outside of my native tongue. Have you found that to be true? I was reading in Acts recently and following Paul through the many travels of his. I read something that I had never caught before in his salvation story. I had to start digging deeper. Did you know Paul, who was originally called Saul, has 3 accounts of his conversion story in the book of Acts? His encounter with the Lord is mentioned in Acts 9, Acts 22, and Acts 26. Take a moment and read them with me. As we travel through the Bible, perhaps you'll discover something new. Acts 9, 1-9 says, Now Saul was still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. He went to the high priest and requested letters from him to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any men or women who belonged to the way, he might bring them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he traveled and was nearing Damascus, a light from heaven suddenly flashed around him. Falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Who are you, Lord? Saul said. I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting, he replied. But get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. The men who were traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the sound but seeing no one. Saul got up from the ground, and though his eyes were open, he could see nothing. So they took him by the hand, and they led him into Damascus. He was unable to see for 3 days and did not eat or drink. Now in Acts 22, 6-11, this is the account. It says this, As I was traveling and approaching Damascus, about noon an intense light came from heaven, suddenly flashed around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I answered, Who are you, Lord? He said to me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, the one you are persecuting. Now those who were with me saw the light, but they did not hear the voice of the one who was speaking to me. I said, What should I do, Lord? The Lord told me, Get up and go into Damascus, and there you will be told everything that you have been assigned to do. Since I couldn't see because of the brightness of the light, I was led by the hand by those who were there with me and went into Damascus. The third account is in Acts 26, 12-18, and it says this. In this connection, I journeyed to Damascus with the authority and commission of the chief priests. At midday, O king, I saw on the way a light from heaven brighter than the sun that shone around me and those who journeyed with me. And when we had all fallen to the ground, I heard a voice saying to me in the Hebrew language, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads. And I said, Who are you, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and stand up upon your feet, for I have appeared to you for this purpose, to appoint you as a servant and witness to the things in which you have seen me and to those in which I appear to you, delivering you from your people and from the Gentiles, to whom I am sending you to open their eyes, so that they may turn from their darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, that they may receive forgiveness of sin and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me. As I read Acts 26, I caught something that I'd never caught before. Verse 14 says, And when we had all fallen to the ground, I heard a voice saying to me in the Hebrew language, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads. Paul recounted the moment when the Lord spoke to him on the road to Damascus, and this time in Acts 26, he noted that it was in a Hebrew language. Paul heard the Lord in his personal, native language and the language of his religion. God called him by name twice and addresses him in his native tongue, acknowledging who he is. Men traveling with Saul heard the sound but did not see anyone, as noted in Acts. And in Acts 22, those who were with Saul saw the light but did not hear the voice. God knows you so personally and desires to meet you where you are. Pause. Raise your gaze. Look to the one who's desiring to have your full and undivided attention. He will speak to you directly and in your personal native language, calling forth the fullness of who you are. Are you listening and responding? How can you make monumental moments and live to multiply His movement today?